Hey guys, just wanted to leave you another message that I feel is very important. My head was just spinning and snowballing and making problems out of nothing. I was just thinking about the pandemic and all this, you know. And what came to my mind was actually my business coach posted on her Instagram a post that said, as a leader, you're either leading from your scars or from your wounds. Now, if you're leading from your scars, that means you are leading from a calloused place. That means you are leading from a place that has been hardened from your suffering. Which is how I'm trying to appear to you now. I'm not trying to appear to you, that's how I am. It's just the way that I communicate sometimes has been a bit off. Arguably because of my head injury, arguably just because of me. I don't know. So, what struck me was the fact that I was leading with my wounds when I started. And I realized that myself, and now I have been trying to lead with my scars. But that's also very difficult to do when you continuously get concussions, and I'm continuously reopening this wound. I'm literally not letting my brain heal, because I don't know what the fuck else to do. What would you do if you rode a skateboard since you were 14 years old? That's over half of my life. That's 15 years. What would you do if you had to give up an activity that you did for 15 years? An activity that shaped who you were? Most of the people that I know from Peterborough, from my neighborhood, they know me as a skateboarder. That's where they saw me. That's how they met me, on a skateboard. It's tattooed on my body for a reason. Because of what it means to me. I will always be a skateboarder, but sometimes it might be a good idea for me to not ride a skateboard and not get another concussion. Life is a lot better than a minute of exhilaration or adrenaline. That's really what it was. I don't know if addicted or whatever, but that's what drew me to skateboarding, was the adrenaline that you get from it. It's exciting. So that's also why yoga is not such an easy thing for me to take up and replace skateboarding with. And that's why this has been such a difficult process for me. Is because skateboarding is just so out there. Like, dude, I don't know, skateboarding is just magic. I just can't, I just love it so much. I can't even describe it. Like, it's everything and nothing. It's literally, there are no limits to a skateboard. You're not strapped into it. It's just endless, limitless. And but now it's in the Olympics and it's getting more mainstream, so it's too lame. Anyways, I don't want a skateboard. No. I don't really have that kind of mindset, but it just really struck me that maybe the fact that I was leading with my wounds instead of my scars, maybe I was leading with my wounds because I didn't quit riding my skateboard. And in a lot of ways, I'm still attached to being a victim, like, but then you can't really tell me how to feel unless you've had a traumatic experience, something just ripped away from you overnight. I didn't even know what the hell happened to me. I mean, how do you process that with an injured brain? How do you process that? How do you get over that? How do you leave that trauma in the past, you know? So I've been trying. I've been trying the best I can, and I'm doing it, but I'd never thought that the hardest part of this would be letting go of my skateboard. Like, I don't know, I thought one visit in the hospital might have been enough for me, but I guess not. I guess I'm really not afraid of it, to be honest with you, but then again, how can I be afraid of something that I don't really remember? It's so messed up. Like, I don't even know what happened to me. Like, it's just so crazy that it's like, and I've been wanting to make a video about this for the longest time, and the moment of inspiration just hit me. And as I told you in the previous video I posted, this past year I've been able to communicate and to express myself and to share these stories. Maybe this has just been so painful, and maybe it's just part of my brain injury, but I haven't wanted to talk about this. But at the same time, I needed to talk about this. So I've kind of gone off on a tangent, but what I wanted to bring this back to is leading with your scars. Because one thing my business coach told me was that a lot of influencers tend to do that. They lead with their wounds because they just want friends and they just want... But I'm coming at it in a different perspective. I actually want you to trust me. I actually want you to trust me enough to give me an exchange. You're not giving me anything because you're getting back health and well-being. Yoga can help you remove anxiety and pain and things that you never thought you could. I've proven that to myself, and I've spoken to too many people who have also proven the same thing. So I know it can happen. Everybody's different, so some people it might take a bit longer. But regardless, yoga is a science for healing your body. And again, another thing that my other spiritual teacher told me was that these things are not cultural. These things are not owned by a culture. Religions are not owned by cultures or anything. These things are systems or technologies or programs, recipes, if you will. Recipes, so you can put this thing and that thing and that thing and do this and you get that. That's what these things are. And if you look at these things like that, you can actually use them instead of having them use you. This is another thing that my other teacher tells us about constantly. And it goes back to every time I'm talking to somebody who's a Christian, they always say, "Oh, I'm a terrible person and God did everything for me." Well, no. God helped you, yes. But you are the person in the flesh. You're in the flesh suit, and you have to move from point A to point B. So when you give God all of the credit for your recovery, that's not self-love. That's not valuing yourself. I don't know what that is. And I'm not saying to not worship God or do anything, do what you want to. But maybe next time you accomplish something, you might think a bit differently. That's all. I think as humans, we have been programmed to just disregard ourselves. And that's not constructive, that's destructive, you know? So, to tie it back into leading from a wound or a scar, I don't think it matters which one you start with, because I started the wrong way. Now I know. And it was frustrating, but now, okay, I understand. But it doesn't matter. All you have to do is just start. Because now I'm 2 months or 3 months ahead of where I was 3 months ago. Regardless of whether I've made the goal that I want to or not. I'm still farther ahead than where I was when I was questioning myself about this. So I don't regret anything that I did. I'm thankful that I pushed myself and got over the insecurities or whatever, the blocks that were keeping me from, should I do this, should I not? I didn't care. Because I wanted to do something for myself. I wanted to make money for myself. I need to lift myself up. And again, this isn't about money. But if I don't charge anything for my work, I will not be able to eat. That's basic. So, never be too hesitant. That's the worst feeling, is when you got that rumble in your stomach and you know you want to do something, but you're not sure if you can do it. Or you're not sure. You're just worried and self-conscious. Once you get over the initial bit of fear and break that ice, that's often like the biggest point. That's often the biggest obstacle that you will have to run through. You'll have to get over. So never be afraid of being an imposter, being a poser. Never be afraid of someone calling you out. Honestly, that crosses my mind every time I post something, but I don't pay attention to it because that's not productive. So, I hope you have a good night or day whenever you want to read this. If you would like a free guide to yoga and meditation, please click the link in my bio. It is a Google Doc. You can click it and read it whenever you'd like. And if you feel called to, you can message me directly and we can schedule a yoga class or a lesson. I can help you out.